o'clock, brand new week. Welcome on in, Real America's Voice, live from Studio 6B, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, September 15th. Glad you're in. Look at the full panels here. We got an exciting night special guest, but let me go here to my left. Mr. Paul Nolan's here. He's going to do the news. Mr. Nolan, how are you?
I am well, my friend. I am excited for a new week.
How was your weekend?
It was very nice. Sunday, you know what I did?
What? Watch the Giants?
Like basically what you and Vin do
Bailed slick out of jail.
I was
watching the Cowboys.
Watching that in the 6th precinct.
I lounged around the house all day.
Good.
I did nothing, nada.
All right.
Gots.
Very good. Slickster, I know what you were doing on Sunday. You were sweating it.
Man, that was a rough
pulled
weekend.
It out. How are you?
I'm doing good, Big D. I tell you, I would have had to take off, I think, until you leave on, Wednesday night? I was going to be sick for 2 days, at least, because I could not come and face you if they lost.
After what you said, after what you said in the chat to me before the game started.
Exactly.
That's right. So, Rick, Slick's going to do sports, of course, sponsored by our friend Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Rick Delgado's here. He's going to do the news. Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I am good.
How was your weekend?
Do you really want to know? Because it was awesome.
Oh, okay, good.
The weather was awesome, so I got to be on my bike as much as possible, so that was awesome.
How many miles did you ride?
About 120. And then my mom is doing good. She's bouncing back quickly from her eye surgery, so that's good. That's awesome.
Good for her.
I detached from social media for the most part. So that was awesome.
That was good.
And then I discovered that I'm on the right side. Of all the nonsense we saw in the past week,
yeah,
I can honestly say, despite what some people out there might, not like when I use certain words, which is fine. That's your opinion. That's fine. I still find myself on the right side of history, so I'm good.
Okay, very good. We'll get into that, I'm sure. Please, Aaron and Fran holding it down as they always do here on a Monday. But please welcome our special guest here joining us for the first part of the show. And he can stay as long as he wants to stay. He is the chairman of the Suffolk County GOP, Mr. Jesse Garcia. Friend of the show returns. Mr. Jesse Garcia, how are you?
Great to be here. Thanks so much for having me. Who kicks a 64-yard field goal?
Crazy.
What is that?
Brandon Aubrey, the best in the business.
We had to separate Jesse.
How much do they pay these guys?
They were playing
Not enough.
for a 64-yarder, too. It was like they knew they had it in the bag.
Closed stadium. It's got that little small opening.
They had the air conditioning all blowing that direction.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
It was clearly in the bag.
Whatever help we can get, we'll take it.
Jerry was doing
450 yards, and we throw an interception in the last play. That's
Jesse asked to move his seat because Slick's got.
We moved the helmet too.
We moved it. We actually moved it. There we go. Good.
I have enough pain. I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough year in New York, I think. But
What else?
that might be an understatement. Let's get serious. It's great to have you here, Jesse. We love having you on. It's been a little bit. I said to you in the kitchen that last week felt like about 3 months.
It really did.
For 7 days, starting with the arena. Was it arena? I think arena.
Yeah.
On the North Carolina train.
Yeah.
Then obviously 9/11. And then, of course, it'd be before 9/11, obviously Charlie Kirk and what we saw there. So I was going to start with the Newsday caricature that they had to put up and apologize for. I mean, it's just so stunningly despicable.
Unbelievable.
But I guess give me your thoughts on everything we saw last week before we get to Newsday.
It's one of those very difficult weeks. I mean, if you look at it, from Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday with 9/11, it's one of those tough weeks. As you said, it felt like 3 months. But this, we're a great nation of people, and I know that maybe we may go down on bended knee for a moment, but we will stand right back up. And it just demonstrates that there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of unity that needs to come forward. I think a lot of Democrats at the national, state, and local level have to get their act together and understand that we are a country and a nation first of Americans before we have our party labels. And we just need to move forward. Unfortunately, it just demonstrates that we're on the right track. And thank God we have the elected officials that we do in Washington, here locally in Suffolk County and and Long Island, and in parts of our country, because this type of activity we can't stand for this. And And we're not going to stand for it. We're going to keep fighting to make sure that we, make our communities safer, we secure our communities, and we make everything more affordable so we can thrive with our families here.
Yeah. You think about where the country was like on 9/12/2001. The day after, and in those days, and then the Yankees came back to play, and what everybody was feeling. It was that feeling of what you just described. We're all Americans first before we put a party label on it. Just because I'm interested, where were you on 9/11?
9/11, I was actually, on the day of, I was on my way to LaGuardia with then Congressman Felix Gucci. I was his chief of staff. And we were on our way to LaGuardia to take a flight to D.C. Ironically, we were on a flight the night before, but it was canceled. And as we were driving out there, the first tower was hit. I remember listening to Don Imus on 66. I was a big Don Imus fan. And he announced that they hit the first tower. So, of course, we contact the staff, reroute us because we know the airspace is going to be taken out. So we're going to try and work something out of MacArthur right here in Islip. And then the second tower was hit. And there was no doubt about it. This country was under attack. And we got locked down. We mustered in the congressman's office in Patchogue. We started getting on the phone with our Washington, D.C. office, the White House, the governor's office, the county executive's office here, making sure we could try and figure out what we could do, what we could answer. And unfortunately, that was one of the darkest days in our history. But we rose up, like you said, September 12th. There was a sense of patriotism, a sense of unity, a sense of togetherness. There was an assault on all of us that we were not going to stand for. And we made sure, and I have to give Congressman Gucci a lot of credit. Everyone remembers him from being the fireworks king. But what he did in that time period to make sure that New York got its $20 billion to rebuild, that everything was needed for the rescue and recovery effort first, that it was there, that New York received it, that our first responders, our police got what they needed. That was first and foremost. It was, working hand in hand with then Congressman Peter King. It was one mission, and that was secure America, secure New York, and then rebuild.
On 9/11, I said last week that you had obviously an outside of the country influence that tried to come here and attack us and silence us and try to change the way we live. And in some respects, I felt like last week, what happened to Charlie Kirk was very similar, but just obviously from the inside of the country. They wanted to send a message of you're going to just go shut up and not stop talking about this. And I think what you just said, is what we've seen over the last couple of days. The Kennedy Center last night, the lines, the churches, the gatherings. People are just not going to stand for an attack like this on all of America.
They're not, and it is an attack on all of America. It's an attack on the first tenet of America, the First Amendment, right to free speech. That's that was being attacked at that point. Unfortunately, Charlie Kirk was the victim of that. But I agree with his wonderful wife, Erica, and our prayers and our thoughts go out to Erica and her 2 children and everyone associated with Turning Point. When she stood in front on an international audience and said, you may have tried to snuff out one voice. You've created millions of voices. And that is what happened. Over the weekend, we had thousands of people in Nassau County having a vigil for Charlie Kirk. We are seeing people fighting back. We're not going to accept the fact that it's okay to mock the political assassination of one of our fellow Americans because he was speaking his mind. And Charlie Kirk was a man of faith. He was a man of country. He was a man that loved America. And certainly trying to snuff that out, that's not going to happen. His unfortunate passing is going to lead to a movement that's going to get supercharged on steroids, and no one's going to stop. And we're seeing that. People are being fired. People are not accepting that it's okay to mock, the death of someone who was just speaking their mind in the best of ways, and a public discourse, public debate of ideas. That's America. That's us. Yeah. That's our neighbors across the fence.
Yeah. And we were talking amongst us on the show last week. I guess it shouldn't be surprising, but it still was the level. And this brings me back to what Newsday did. Besides the Newsday thing that they had to retract and apologize for, but when you looked at the celebration that there was going on, it wasn't just like what we would joke about pink-haired, liberal wackadoos making videos in their mom's basement. It was doctors. It was lawyers. It was anesthesiologists. It was administrators. It was teachers. It was It was everyday Americans that we would be in contact with, our kids would be in contact with at all levels of not only government, but society and jobs and businesses. I mean, it was just stunning to see.
It really was. And you know what that says to me is that the common sense Americans stood up and said, no, we're not going to have this. This was an attack on our family. This was an attack on our country. And we're not going to make fun of this, celebrate the murder of one of our Americans for political violence, to shut him up because we did not agree with him. That's not what America's about. We debate. We come together. We compromise. We work together for the whole. You know what? I credit those individuals that were in a position of authority that said, we're not going to have this. I don't want you to be part of our organization. You're not credible enough. You're not credible to teach our students to work in this medical institution or in any walk of life. You're just not there. We don't want to be associated with you. And that's why we had to take this very strong stance with Newsday this past weekend.
Yeah, for those who maybe on the national level don't know, Newsday, the paper here in New York, put up a cartoon, I believe it was the day after, and it showed the tent that Charlie was sitting under, and it said, "Prove me wrong" on it, just like his did. And it showed an empty chair, and the banner that was behind the chair showed a splatter of blood. And this is what they printed in the paper.
It was repugnant.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, there was really no way. I actually called Newsday and tried to, 4 times I dialed to try to get somebody on to complain. It was repugnant. This is a liberal rag New York paper. It's a disgrace to call it a journalistic source anymore. It's a rag. And was that also now part of the Altice family that when Dolan
I think they broke apart.
Did they? Either way, it's a disaster.
But it highlighted the kind of those broader issues that conservatives and J.D. Vance spoke to this today. I don't know if you happen to see. He hosted the Charlie Kirk show from the White House. And I've pulled his intro and his outro as clips tonight. And in his outro, it's a little long. It's like 13 minutes. But I have to tell you, it's one of the finest speeches I've heard in really talking about where the conservative party, where we have to be as conservatives, what we should be willing to engage like going forward, and what we should not be willing to tolerate. And I'll play it tonight. It's pretty powerful.
But we shouldn't have to tolerate that type of journalism or publication or celebration. So just to give you some background.
Well, yeah, let's hit the break, then we'll come back. We'll talk more with Jesse. We got a lot more questions. We'll get into what's going on in New York City, and the New York governor, and who she endorsed to be the mayor of New York City. All of that when we get back right after this, live from Studio 6B.
He was with
I love it.
All right, chat. I don't know why Rumble's not working. For those of you asking about Rumble, I have no idea. But wherever you're watching, welcome on in.
YouTube, $10 super chat. Big D, LSU Patriot coming in, finally saved up enough dollars to make it to see you all at the warehouse, but decided to use it to go to Charlie's funeral. Flying out of New Orleans Saturday, I'll start saving up again to see you guys in New York. Well, that's okay, LSU Patriot. I don't feel bad about being preempted for that. That's a great move. And travel safe, my friend. That should be
too. LSU Patriot, right? Isn't he going through some as well?
That I don't know.
I know Mikey AZ is. We're praying for you, brother.
Let's see. Damon, will we have to explain 100 times? What does that mean? Farmer Brook? Damon, will we have to explain 100 times? I don't know.
I don't know.
Tripolletti called it New Yorkistan. I think that's pretty funny.
That is funny.
That's a good one.
Howdy,
Hurts.
howdy, howdy. Twixters. Go to the YouTubes.
We can only get the rest of the state to think like Nassau and Suffolk, right, Jesse?
Yeah.
My goodness.
I mean,
what a great job
would we
you
be
guys
paying
have done.
property tax if we weren't carrying the rest of the state? If Long Island was its own state?
We wouldn't be paying as much.
No, for sure.
Boy, what a rally in London, huh? Did you guys see that?
Oh my God, 1 million in Londoners.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
That
What
would
a
estimate nearly 2 million. There was one overhead. I don't know how to estimate that many people, but it was fantastic.
What a testament, right? What a reach to London. That's incredible.
But it's really also, they've been so oppressed. Their free speech has been
Their
slaughtered.
free speech is under attack.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
They don't have free speech.
Yeah,
They go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless, never mind.
Well, you can say it. They can't hear you.
No,
Don't trust Delgado.
I don't want the big guy over here associated to my stupidity. Let's protect his career. He's doing a great job.
Good stuff.
I don't want to be associated with your stupidity.
The scary part is, I raise your IQ by like 3 points.
All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Monday, Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Brand new week getting started wherever you're watching. We appreciate it. And, of course, we appreciate every night, 8 to 10. You've given us a couple hours of your weekday nights. Paul Nolan's here. He's going to get into some news. Slick will get into some sports. Delgado will get into headlines. Aaron and Fran holding it down. But Jesse Garcia's joined us on set, and we're so honored to have him. He's the chairman of the Suffolk County GOP right here at Suffolk County, Long Island. And, you know, we always kind of joke because people talk about, you guys in New York got to get out of New York. And sometimes I think people won't realize out here in Suffolk County, and, of course, you're a big you're one of the big reasons this is the case.
Yep.
This is Trump country. This is
Trump
Republican conservative country out here in Suffolk County.
Suffolk County used to be a purple county, and by the great work of thousands of committee members, outstanding candidates, and the voters finally giving us the trust to do what's right, we've been rewarded. I mean, we have six of 10 towns are Republican. The county, which once had a district attorney that was a Democrat, a controller that was the only Republican, and then the county executive and legislature, all in Democratic hands. All those are in Republican hands right now.
Yeah. I saw somebody joking that Long Island should really be the 51st state and separate itself.
Hear a lot
That's
of
not
that.
joking. I've been floating that and looking at that over the last couple
Okay.
times.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
All right, Jesse.
Especially what's been happening lately. You know?
That's getting traction nowadays.
Is that actually ever have a chance? Could that be pushed? Because it would be nice.
We will push it. In fact, we're working on a couple of different avenues to see what we can do to make ourselves a 51st state. But the problem is that we would have to have the ability or the authority, in part, if I'm not mistaken, from the state legislature. And there is no way they're going to, the Democrats in Albany are going to let this ATM go anywhere or spend money on itself. So, but we're still going to do the good fight, because the only way we can do anything is by creating a grassroots groundswell of support where it basically shames the Democrats in control into doing what's right, whether it be term limits, the death penalty. We've done that a couple of times in Suffolk County and the state of New York. So if we can shame them enough and force them enough with our voices going up, they'll have no choice but to change.
Jesse, how do you shame the shameless?
That's true.
That's true. By keep beating them at the ballot box.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And how?
Let's talk about New York City. You put out a statement criticizing Governor Hochul's endorsement of Zohran Mondavi, who the numbers tell us right now looks like he's on an unbeatable path to be the next mayor of New York City, a literal communist.
Little communist.
Yeah, a literal communist, as President Trump says. Tell me about your statement, and how do you think his election, because, the suburbs are more diverse than they've ever been.
Yes.
But we know that starting under Obama, what they're trying to do with FAHO and they're trying to bring the city to the suburbs through housing, and they're trying to ruin single-family housing and all of these kind of policies. What tell me about your letter, and then what do you think his election will mean to a place like Suffolk County?
Sure. First, his election to places like Suffolk. Number one, I feel bad for anybody who lives in the city, who works in the city, owns a business in the city. In about 50 days, it's going to be a bad time for them when Mondami gets elected. And you know what? The governor, from whatever party, in this case, Governor Hochul, could have demonstrated leadership and said, no, we need to go a different way. But she did, is that she doubled down on the failed policies that are already out there. This is a communist. A Mondami administration means that we're going to have higher property taxes, higher utility rates. It's going to be Long Islanders like us in Suffolk County paying for all these free programs that have not worked in any other venue or any other political jurisdiction, whether it be Venezuela or in other parts of this country. So we're going to now attach Governor Hochul directly to the hip of Mondami, because they are one. They are the face of the Democratic Party. They chose that this is going to be the face of the Democratic Party. And on a political side, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to tell the truth about their policies, about cashless bail, about coddling criminals, about handcuffing judges, police officers, and prosecutors at the expense of the middle-class voters and the middle-class families. And I'm going to show them how real tough Republican leadership on both budgets, on the economy, and criminal justice, which is fair and just and transparent, that we're going to be able to make our community safer, more secure, and more affordable.
Yeah. I mean, it's really amazing when you look at that a guy like this not only can be even taken seriously, but could win elections. Yeah. And we're raising a generation of kids who are looking at this and they think that this is the way. They think these policies are the way. They're growing up. I saw Mark Levin talking about this a lot the other night, that we're raising a generation of kids who are just, because of like guys like him and government, they push more government, then you have these kids who are going, well, the reason I can't buy a house is because of him, or the reason I can't get successful is because of him, or the reason I can't do this is because of the governor, or the system, or the white guy, or the this. It's never about them. There's no individual responsibility. There's no individualism. There's nothing. It's just government. And this guy's talking about grocery stores and more government, and it's just
free busing, everything.
Yeah.
And taking away property rights, allowing squatters to be there. I mean, who's going to have, where are your affordable housing, true affordable housing going to come from? There is a segment of our youth that is being indoctrinated into this type of belief. But I have faith in the young people. I have faith in the young people that came across the aisle and turned to Donald Trump in 2024 and said, no, we tried the Democratic way. They lied to us about paying for our school college tuition. They've lied about us having jobs or having safe communities, and they turned in droves. And Charlie Kirk was part of that, and others that made that movement from the Democrat to the Republicans. We saw Donald Trump and Republicans grow in every demographic there was. A lot of that is because these people over the last 4 years, these groups saw the failures within their own communities of these democratic policies. We're going to double down on the successes that we do here locally. We're going to amplify them on the state and national level. And I think we're prime here. My dear friend, who's the EPA administrator right now, Lee Zeldin, he blazed a path, came within a handful of votes to becoming the first governor since George Pataki in almost 30 years, a Republican governor. He blazed the path. He set the table. I believe that we have a number of candidates here in New York that are going to be able to bring the fight to Kathy Hochul and the Democrats, and Kathy Hochul's actions by endorsing Mondami. That's going to probably be, when we all do the analysis at the end of 26's election, that's going to be was the beginning of the end of her tenure.
Just quickly, and I'll let the guys ask some questions too if they have any of you, but just as obviously elections are heating up now, Suffolk County, what is your priority that you're talking to, or kind of spreading the word top down on the priorities of the Republican Party? Is the number one thing cost of living still for people on Long Island?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Taxes and affordability are number one on everyone's top 10 list. The second one is safety. Everyone is concerned about their public safety. They see not so much the public safety they have in and around their communities, but what they see around, like in New York City and other states. So our priorities are going to be continuing the platform that the Republicans have under County Executive Ed Romaine, and the head of our ticket this year, District Attorney Ray Tierney. As you know, he's the one who solved the 13-year-old cold case Gilgo Beach murder. That's going to be going to trial. And he had a big win just last week on DNA evidence. But he's ahead of our ticket, and we're going to demonstrate to everyone through our legislature. That's our big race. For the first time in 1996, Republicans in Suffolk County hold the county executive and a supermajority in the legislature. We're going to maintain our majority and grow our majority. We're going to go after 2 or 3 Democrats and keep them on their heels and really make them have to work. And we're going to be surprising them in a couple of different races, like Laura Endress in the 5th Legislative District, Chad Lubinacci in the 16th Legislative District, and Guy Leggio in the 9th Legislative District. And we're going to try and grow and go from, I'm going for a baker's dozen, more than a baker's dozen. I want more than 13 because I will feel better as someone who calls Suffolk County home that these elected officials I know will work tirelessly to make sure that we're safe, that we're secure, and that we have an affordable community to grow our businesses, grow our families.
All right, we'll do a couple more minutes with Jesse Garcia when we get back. Live from Studio 6B on a Monday. Glad you're in. We're back right after this.
Something, I would have no problem trying to rally some of the other.
I know they did a video. I'm not sure what would be appropriate. I don't want to politicize it.
I know.
I think that I'm glad they did the vigil and it didn't get too overly political.
Chat. What's going on in the chat?
But if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I would definitely.
I don't know. Rumble's not working tonight. We have no idea. Our connection from the studio to Rumble is not working. Not sure why.
I actually thought this was you.
He thinks it's him.
He's got his own mic.
Delgado.
That was a gift from one of the viewers sent that to me.
Yeah?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was an awesome
I'm going to
gift.
send you a Giants helmet.
That was sure, fantastic. I'll give it to Delgado. Put it under his desk. Oh, that's funny. Good stuff. Yeah.
Facebookers.
Everything looks good, though, in the races locally, right? We look good, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I think so. I know Anthony Piccarella's got a gnat that he's dealing with. But
He's got a gnat. I mean, it's a nuisance campaign.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy, he never stops working.
No. He's tireless.
And, but really, we're good. The only places I have to watch is always the first re-elect for Catherine Stark in the North Fork. Because it's always just a little bit of...
Okay, it looks like it connected now.
And then
I totally deleted it and then put it back.
Stephanie Bontempi, but I always just watched.
You know who's strong out there is Jiggly.
Oh, Jody.
He's a rock star. Annie Oakley.
And then
That tough little cookie's been on the show with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, she's great.
And Doug Smith.
Doug's lovable.
He's been on the show many.
Oh, good.
Doesn't Doug just have that like harmless country boy? Like,
Yeah.
he's got
Doug cares, and Doug
just as he shivs you.
Yeah, and he's a brilliant guy.
He is.
He
really
doesn't
is.
come off like, you know it all. But he's brilliant. He's an educator. His parents watch the show. They love the show.
Jody Giglio, I'm on live at Studio 6B, and they're saying really like nice things about you. Did you pay them or something? Did you Venmo them money?
Venmo.
She's cute.
Oh, okay. Me.
Delgado, have you researched Project Bluebeam? Somebody wants to know.
Of course.
I'll give you a call
I
right
did a
back.
whole
I think
thing on
Delgado
Bluebeam.
lives in Project Bluebeam. What are
I
you
am
talking about?
Bluebeam.
I will.
And other things I just can't tell you. Shut up, Paul.
All right, you got it.
I'll send you another
A
picture.
wild.
I don't want the same affliction.
That's bizarre. Huh?
Holy shit! Has she got this place bugged?
That is like
I was going to say.
That's like a ghost.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Monday, getting a brand new week started. Glad you're in, everybody. Jesse Garcia is the chairman of the Suffolk County GOP here on Long Island, New York. But, you know, a lot of what Long Island does, Suffolk County does, is resembles on the national level what President Trump is doing. President Trump's agenda continues to influence Republican candidates and strategists all the way down the ticket as far as when it comes to, obviously, immigration, economic growth, things like that, cost of living, inflation, and that's everything that I know Jesse's focused on. Delgado, what do you have for Jesse?
Something he said in the last segment, talking about how you're going to focus on the state, going after who's going to be the have you guys kind of zeroed in on who your gubernatorial candidate's going to be just yet?
I think we have
got a few.
I think we have a few good candidates. I mean, certainly you have, my neighboring county executive, Bruce Blakeman, is in the mix. He's standing for re-election this year. So I mean, it'd be appropriate for him to go through that first and then go through his decision-making process. We also have Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. She's the head of the House Leadership Conference, an outstanding and dynamic representative in her own right. So I think we have a good stable of candidates that are going to come forward. I do believe that in the end, though, honestly, the conversations I've had with the White House, with their political directors, and with one of my dear friends and one of my dear political mentor is Tony Fabrizio. He's a pollster and consultant. He's been with me since I've been in campaigns as a staffer, and now I keep him around when I'm chairman of this party, and he's the president's pollster. So I'm in touch with him. The president's going to weigh in on who the governor's going to be.
All right.
I mean, he's already done that a little bit by making sure that Congressman Lawler, who's a great member of Congress as well and a great elected official, that he sticks in his seat to make sure we maintain that Republican majority.
Now, let me ask you this though, because we see it all the time with the members of Congress. Somebody kind of gets out there, they promise us the world, and when it comes to delivering, they don't deliver. They become the weak-kneed, zero-spine Republican once they get in office because, I had to say what I had to say so I could win. Mm-hmm. Now I got everything that I need. Who wants to make deals? That's what I think we want to avoid, because I think we've seen the results of that type of nonsense when it comes to the people in Congress, where the president can't seem to get judges pushed through. He can't seem to get some of these agenda items pushed through that he wants. That meanwhile, all these Congress people are like, no, we're all Trump, and then they turn around and they say, well, maybe not, because they've made side deals. Mm-hmm. How do we go about making sure we get somebody who's not going to side deal their way through a 4-year governorship?
Well, I think that, number one, you got to look at what their record are. I mean, you have two elected officials, Stefanik and Blakeman, that have a body of record that is about lower taxes. It's about empowering small businesses. It's empowering communities, more about local control than, God forbid, local control and the Democrat control. So I think you look at their body of record, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, at that point, I think that if you see, we have some tough cookies here in New York. And I will tell you the one benefit of having a slim majority in the House of Representatives is that you really can't have people equivocate. And I got to tell you, God bless that we have Speaker Johnson as the head of our caucus. He has been able to do what other speakers has not been able to do with a majority this small. He has brought them together. We have demonstrated in Washington that we're able to legislate for the middle class. The big, beautiful bill, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, securing our border, every major tenet that we needed for the economy and for small businesses in the middle class were included in that bill. And it was tough, including for us here in New York in a blue state. We needed an increase in the deduction of SALT, state and local taxes. Yeah. Now, not everyone in the Midwest, congressmen, members of Congress, are going to understand that. They have good governors that, reduce their tax burden. We have a blue governor that wants to tax us even further. But they came together and they demonstrated that they can legislate from different points of view. So I think what we're going to see is you look at their body of work, you look at their ability to work together and come together to get an agenda done.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't fans of the big, beautiful bill, me specifically, just because I just don't know when we tackle the debt and deficits in this country. And you know the budgetary gimmicks that they play on these bills where it's all backloaded. It never happens. You just explode the deficit. September 30th is coming. We're not going to get 12 appropriation bills. We're probably going to get a long, big, fat CR for God knows how long. And every time the Republicans get in charge, and I'm sorry, now we hold them all, they never tackle it. There's always some reason that it has to be put. Well, you got to swallow the CR because the next time we were told last time at the end of Biden, we had to do it because we had to get into the Trump era 2.0. And then we got into Trump era and it's like, well, we can't slow down his agenda in the first 100 days. We got to kick it again. And here we are September 30th and we're going to kick it again. And it just, when you look at the spending and the deficit spending in some of these bills, yeah, the tax cuts, great. No tax on this, no tax on that. All of that I get. But when you look at all of it in the grand scheme, boy, I don't know when they tackle it, Jesse. I mean, it just seems it's like the third rail of political talk.
I think what you look at is for 12 of the last 16 years, Democrats have been in charge of Washington and have been spending like drunken sailors. You're not going to fix 12 years of wasteful spending and unaccountability in 7, 8, 9 months that we're in here for. It's not my mistaken, and please don't hold me to the number, but I believe there's about $100 billion or several $1 trillion of deficit reduction there. Also, the pundits said that tariffs were going to be killing this economy. Tariffs are actually helping the economy grow a bit, and it's going to reduce our deficit. Here's the thing we need to do. I think that what the Republicans are doing is that what we did with Reagan. You embolden this middle class. You embolden Main Street instead of big corporations and such to grow the economy. There are more tax revenues that's going to adjust and attack the deficit. The other thing I also like, you know what? Able-bodied Americans who are receiving benefits like Medicare and such, they should be doing some type of work for that. 20 hours of work a week is not too much to ask. So you see the beginnings of addressing changes and abuse of programs and the deficit. Also, what they've been doing by eliminating programs such as USA Aid and everything that's going forward. Is it going slower than we expected or wanted to? It is a bit. But for that purposes, they're moving forward in that direction. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that you're not going to fix 12 out of 16 years of problems in 9 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
Paul?
Well, I just love to know, how can we have more transparency on the books of New York State? We generate so much tax money. We generate, such a massive money amount every year, but we never know where it goes. And it's one article after another. We look through the paper, we see that this money was wasted here. This was fraud here. Even the lottery money looks like they just found another hole in all that. Like, where does it all go? And I'd just love to know, could we have like a Doge at a state level? Just because the transparency is just torture. On my tiny little 3-bedroom ranch, I'm at $19,000 a year in taxes. It's outrageous. I mean, I paid for my house. Now they'll take it from me, but what do? I can't fight it. There's nothing I can do, and it's a helpless feeling. I never thought I'd be somebody who would leave New York.
To that point, have you seen what DeSantis has been pushing for in Florida to get rid of the property tax if you've paid your mortgage in full? I mean, that's something you could look at?
I'm certainly take a look at that.
If we got a Republican governor, obviously,
exactly.
we could.
Well, listen, to answer your question first, how was that done at the federal level? We changed the president. Yeah. That's what we did. Yeah. New York needs to change its governor. We need to finally come together. We need all those groups. And Lee Zeldin put together a coalition of different type of groups that propelled him to almost to that governorship. Now we have 4 years of failure under Hochul. Yeah. And she's embracing the absolute worst part of her party, the Mandamis and the communist and socialist agenda. We need to now come together and understand it's our future. We now need to change the way the government does, because that's the best way of doing it. And I will tell you, one of the darkest years we've had here in New York was in 2018, when we lost the Republican Senate in the state Senate. That was the check and balance to the Democrats running roughshod, and we've been suffering since then.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
39 past the hour. We're speaking with Jesse Garcia. We appreciate his time and giving us extra time here. Slick, I'll let you close it out. Anything for Jesse?
Yeah, more of a statement, actually. I just want to thank Jesse for being the backbone of the Suffolk County GOP. What this guy has done is incredible. For selfish reasons, I want him to stay in Suffolk County, but I like to see this man on the national level because Suffolk County should be the template for how the entire 50 states should run in this country, the way they operate. I got to tell you, the elected officials that I deal with on my level, and I don't talk about it a lot, but you know I do a lot for small business through the Chamber of Commerce for the entire century so far. And I got to tell you, working with the current leadership now that's in office that Jesse's been able to provide and put in place, it is incredible the way this county spends money now efficiently. We're doing work for our small businesses, our roads, our highways, our quality of life. Suffolk County is the place to be. Thank you for sliding them from purple to red, making it what it is. Nassau County's also done a great job. But Jesse, I want to thank you. I'm very proud to work with you, work with your team. Exceptional. And I'd love to see you on the national level. I think that's where you are. But we'll keep you here in Suffolk County.
I appreciate that. I'm flattered, but I love Suffolk County. And truly, I will accept those kind words on behalf of the 1,300 committee members of the Suffolk County Republican Committee. They are the ones that go door to door. They're the ones that go. In fact, they started, hundreds of them, thousands of them began on Saturday for a 6-week program to help our candidates and identify voters and advocate for our voters, for our candidates, excuse me. They're the ones that they hold the coffee clutches. Sometimes they dig into their pockets for a few bucks to help our candidates get their message out. But they are the ones that volunteer. They're members of the community, and they have a vested interest in how this community goes. They are the engine of the Republican Party in Suffolk County, and I am ever grateful to them.
And they think the world of your leadership, too, from the other side. That's what I hear. So thank you, Jesse.
You said it best. You said you love Suffolk County. You think Hochul ever said she loves New York?
No.
I don't even think she loves Erie.
She's just a well-placed puppet. She was taking the marching orders. She is bought and owned. And let's hope
to find out who is giving her these stupid marching orders. I mean, this is crazy.
Is it the Pagulas? Every billionaire class loves her.
Probably.
I wonder why.
Well, let me ask you this, because you mentioned about the people that are starting to get out there because,
Yes.
you know, the upcoming election. Do you have a Scott Pressler lined up? Because somebody like that could help turn New York. You saw how close Trump came to doing that. You saw how close Lee Zeldin came to doing that. And how do you plan to take on the gerrymandering?
Well, let me take the first one first. We have an outstanding group of young Republican groups, the Suffolk County Young Republican groups that work in that. We have college Republicans that do this. You can see a lot. Our committee has gotten younger over the age. They've gotten younger in the elected officials, and they've gotten younger in our committeeman spots and such. We're bringing their talents to the forefront, and they are our advocates door to door and in these different groups. Additionally, now, so I would like to tell you that there are a couple hundred Scott Presslers that we have. But nonetheless, I would invite Scott Pressler to come in. We would love to have him here. He's been here a couple of times already, but and I guess we've learned from him a little bit. But the issue is, in terms of, what was your other question?
Gerrymandering.
Gerrymandering. We are going to continue to fight that fight. We were very successful in court. We were successful to make sure that the overreach of the Democrats in their first congressional seats were thrown out in court. We fought for a good seat, and we're going to just continue to work the courts, whether it be on the federal level or a state level, to make sure that we have proper representation here.
All right, cool.
The great Jesse Garcia here
thank
from
you,
live
sir.
from Studio 6B, the chairman of the Suffolk County GOP. We appreciate you giving us all this time.
Thank you so much, man. It's great to have you.
The great Jesse Garcia here live from Studio 6B. All right, we're back. Do some news right after this.
She did a great job. I'm going to tell you, she did style across the aisle.
All right, chat. What's going on?
She just, her personality.
Do.
Her and my wife are their friends. Thank you so much.
Bum. What's going on in the chat? Chat.
stand like 6 feet behind. Don't. And me and Delgado always tippy toe.
Thanks again, boys. Appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, Jeff.
You got it, man.
Just keep fighting that good fight. We appreciate it.
Whenever you need anything, let me know, guys.
Thanks, Jess.
I have a parking ticket in. No, never mind.
I was gonna say Damon ordered DoorDash.
I think I have one too. No, yeah, go back to your seat. You were nice enough to give it up for your friend. The man. Jesse's the man.
Well,
Aaron's the paparazzi, that's right.
he's a very likable guy.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
He's fantastic.
Very, very likable
He's really
guy.
led the resurgence in this county since 2019.
Incredible.
It's it
We
really
haven't
is
seen this in
incredible
40
that, like,
years. We haven't seen this kind of run in the county.
Because Suffolk used to have like this almost like this trashy rednecky like side of it, which was blue.
Right.
And it's gone. Everywhere you drive out here, it's like the old Nassau County. Now Nassau County feels like Queens.
Okay.
I tell you what, it was impressive though to hear him say how powerful Nassau County's Republican committee is. You know, which I've obviously heard, but I wouldn't expect the guy from Suffolk to speak so highly of it when the competition is probably alive and well. You know, which is great, which makes them strive to go to the next level.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Ticked off Patriot says, "Tell Aaron, go Bills."
Go Bill.
Yeah.
Tell her to go away.
Now she's ticked off.
Yeah, Jupiter. I did see it. That Jupiter says in the chat, go look at the 2026 New York State budget online. It's unbelievable the amount of money spent on unnecessary things. It's no question about it.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Monday, Real America's Voice, September 15th. Glad you're in. Want to thank Jesse Garcia for giving us the better part of the first hour, but it's important stuff. And anything we talk about with him here, it really applies nationally as well. Like I said, President Trump and what he's doing on a national level, obviously, really filters down to the local. And then Jesse has really led the resurgence for Republicans here in Suffolk County, and there's about 3 million people here, so he's done a great job. So look, let's do some sports a little bit here. 13 to the hour. Sports brought to you by Mike Lindell. We were all texting on football weekend. I don't even know. This odds makers probably shouldn't count, but yeah, Slick did great, so he wants it to count. Aaron would rather not count
we
it
need to.
because Aaron couldn't find the broadside of a barn. So sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. Slickster, what's going on?
Yeah, it was a interesting weekend, I have to say. I know Aaron was at the Jet game. You have any footage of that, Aaron, for us from the week from yesterday? No.
No, not that could make it to air. I was just cursing.
Boy, Aaron was the last Jet fan
Swearing and all the
left. She was the only Jet fan left in the stadium right at the end of the night. It was
I
terrible.
was.
Yeah, so rough weekend over there. And Cowboys-Giants game was absolutely ridiculous, something that I don't think anybody could have predicted, the amount of offense that was put up. Russell Wilson had an absolute career day. He looked like Dan Marino back in '83, the way he was throwing that ball, unstoppable, with the Cowboys secondary playing his own Tampa 2 defense that they're not accustomed to playing to, and almost cost them the game. But Brandon Aubrey kicked 65-yard field goals like they're extra points on a Sunday. So he's, it's really incredible the way that went down. So, yeah, rough weekend overall. College games, I was hit or miss with that, Big D, but it was pretty good. But I don't have a full recap on that, and it's really not necessary in light of my mind was in a lot of different places. And as much as I enjoyed watching football, of course, I couldn't get Charlie out of my head all day, and I just want to run a story about that, and a disappointing story at that. 5 NFL teams declined moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Each celebrated George Floyd back in the day. So this is Warner Todd Houston at Breitbart. With week 2 of the NFL winding down, 5 home teams refused to sponsor a moment of silence for murdered conservative activist Charlie Kirk, even though each of them held memorials, made statements, and donated money.
I legitimately don't know who they are.
Neither do I.
All right, let's guess. First, I'm going to go for sure Minnesota Vikings.
Check.
Okay. One of the LA teams. I don't know which one. Maybe both. But no. Okay. What's your guess, Paul?
The 49ers?
No.
No, he just said no California. No California.
No California.
Teams.
I'm sorry. I thought you said no LA.
How about Chicago?
No.
Oh.
How about New York?
No.
Oh, I give up. This
Wow.
game
All
sucks.
right, where are they?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Really?
Detroit Lions, Michigan, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Baltimore Ravens, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You missed that one. And Indianapolis Colts, along with the Minnesota
surprising.
Vikings. So, very disappointing. And each of those teams, not only did they do memorials for convicted criminal and drug addict George Floyd back in 2020, but they also raised money as well at the stadium. The Ravens participated in what was called a National Day of Mourning in June of 2020. The Bengals locked arms in solidarity against supposed radical injustice. The Detroit Lions released a statement honoring George Floyd and had multiple events in his name. The Colts also made statements, donated money, and held events in honor of Floyd. The Vikings created scholarships in Floyd's name, invited Floyd's family to opening day, and multiple Viking players had team-sponsored visits to the George Floyd Memorial. So you see the difference, and then the complete silence. I will say I was proud to see my Dallas Cowboys. Big TV, big screen before they took the field against the Giants. Made sure I showed my wife, Jerry Jones did the right thing. They had a nice recognition and a moment's
many
silence.
nice ones.
Yeah, I was absolutely beautiful. If you want, I wish I had the footage, but we can't with the NFL. But it was really a nice celebration of life for Charlie and recognition, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Of course, we have some sports people that also reached out and said the wrong thing as well. But I'll get to those stories a little bit later. But on a positive note, we thought it was a good week 2 in the NFL, and obviously I'm going to get into the pennant race because that's starting to come down to the wire now too. Major League Baseball just 2 weeks left. Season wraps up on September 30th, and what do you know? Hockey preseason's ready to start too. Paul can't wait to get those Islanders on the ice and see what they have this year with the #1 overall draft pick. And that's a wrap in sports for this segment. Big D, I'll come back with a little bit more.
All right, it's very good. And obviously, we understand sports is not high on everyone's list right now, and nor should it be. Obviously, as everything is still raw and new and old. But we got to do something other than, we got to try to move on a little bit to some things other than just can't get pounded over the head all day, every day. So we're trying to mix some things back in here in a respectful way. So let's do some news and some headlines. Rick Delgado, what's going on?
Well, the greatest headlines in the world. Of course, President Trump was speaking today at the White House, had a lot to say. We talked about the appearance. Did we mention you mentioned the J.D. Vance appearance on Charlie Kirk's show. So that was going on as well.
It was...
You have the clips for that?
I mean, I know people that got their hair on fire on the left over it, and people in the media just absolutely, they can't. There's some of the, again, I mean, it's just the same kind of responses as if the whole thing with Charlie Kirk had never happened. It's still unhinged. Just unhinged. They've learned nothing. They're not going to change.
Yeah.
But J.D. Vance was brilliant today.
Yeah, it was quite the appearance, you might say. I don't know if you wanted to play some of that or
I
if you
do, but
save
we only
it
got
for the next hour.
Yeah, we'll play at the top of the hour.
So let's do that. Here's a quick one, though. The war on terror continues as the U.S. military carried out another strike on Venezuelan narco-terrorists in international waters. Venezuelans targeted it while trying to transport more drugs to the U.S. I guess they didn't catch the video from a couple weeks ago when President Trump was grinding a little narco terror too, and blowing up another boat. He announced the military carried out that second strike on the Venezuelan cartels as the administration continues the crackdown. Trump shared the video of what he called kinetic strikes, which resulted in the death of 3 male terrorists. He posted on Truth, said this morning on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a second kinetic strike against positively identified extraordinary violent drug trafficking cartels and narco-terrorists in the South Com area of responsibility. The strike occurred while the confirmed narco-terrorists from Venezuela were in international waters transporting illegal narcotics, a deadly weapon poisoning Americans headed to the U.S. Outlining how the cartels pose that threat to the nation, Trump confirmed several terrorists had been killed. The first strike again happened against a suspected Tren de Aragua drug boat September 2nd and left 11 suspected terrorists dead. At the time, Senator Marco Rubio indicated that on a visit to Ecuador that the U.S. and its allies were working on a tougher approach to these cartels. He said cooperative governments would help the U.S. identify drug traffickers and blow them up if that's what it takes. And, that's plain speaking from not only the president, but also from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, which is, again, great to see. We don't want to see the old time, what they're called, rhinos out there. Just, just talking and telling people what they want to hear while not really appealing to what we actually want done. So there you have it from that. Also, Trump border czar, you know him, we know him, we love him, Tom Homan. He has announced the Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago targeting illegal migrants across the city is working very well. Local authorities strengthened, of course, their opposition with their Know Your Rights campaign, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. But President Donald Trump has repeatedly said that Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker are focused on fomenting more crime. And, of course, they're out to stop it. He also announced today that Memphis, they're going to be getting the National Guard over to Memphis, Tennessee. He announced that in a press conference today as well.
Signed a memorandum. The governor and the 2 senators and a lot of his other cabinet members there. All right, hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming back live from Studio 6B right after this.
This guy Destiny's the scum of the earth.
Chat. What's going on in the chat?
This is the guy who said, see him today? Got a good page and he's got really good content all the time, so. He's got 500,000 followers. That's a good number, right? It's always so clear and it really encompasses the subject with great clarity.
Jolene on X, thank you. How are you? Thanks for the comment. What kind of motorcycle does Delgado have? I don't think he has any.
No, I don't.
Delgado couldn't ride a motorcycle.
I used to have a Kawasaki KZ400.
So a
It was a
crotch
street
rocket,
bike.
in other words.
No, it wasn't a street. It wasn't a crotch rocket, actually.
Oh, no?
No.
Sounds like it.
It wasn't. And I also had when I was a kid, I had a KDX 80, old dirt bike that I used to tear it up with.
You didn't tear anything up.
I tore it up.
Did you guys see this
I
guy
tore
today
shit
go
up.
through social media, the guy with the suit?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That's a really nice clip.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Charlie influence.
It's a $300 suit. I've never owned a suit.
This guy was just like.
Yeah, I watched that this morning. It was great. I was great up around. I was going to play it, and then he dropped the F-bomb a couple times towards the end. I was like, oh, we got to edit.
Yeah, and he
We have to
catches
edit
himself like I'm trying to be better, and then he uses an F-bomb.
Yeah. All right, 9 o'clock. Hour 2, live from Studio 6B. Back on a Monday, September 15th. Brand new week. I have to say, with the little that I didn't see a lot of it. I was out last night, but the vigil at the Kennedy Center looked really beautiful. And I have to say, and I said this on Friday closing the show, but the Real America's Voice team, man, they edited a cold open for that vigil that was just beautiful. And I'll tell you, the other opening they did today was the first segment of Charlie Kirk's show, which J.D. Vance didn't even start talking to the second segment, because the first segment was just a montage put together by, I think, Rav, some of the producers there, and it was just fantastic. Absolutely moving and fantastic. So J.D. Vance hosted let's do the second one, the outro, because I think that's really the one that hit me. His intro was fabulous as well in segment 2 of the show. But this was the last segment of the show. And it's long, but it's so worth listening to a little bit of it. Roll that, Aaron.
Shortly after Usha and I left Charlie's family and Charlie's remains in Arizona, I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits. The very evidence she provides, this hack of a writer, shows that she lied about a dead man, and yet she wrote it. An esteemed magazine published it. It made it through the editors, and of course, liberal billionaires rewarded that attack. Now, of course, even if Charlie had uttered those words, it wouldn't mean that he deserved his fate. But consider the level of propaganda at work. Charlie was gunned down in broad daylight, and well-funded institutions of the left lied about what he said so as to justify his murder. This is soulless and evil. But I was struck not just by the dishonesty of this smear, but by the glee over a young husband's and young father's death. Quote, she says, "He was an unrepentant racist, transphobe, homophobe, and misogynist." The Nation wrote, who often wrapped his bigotry in Bible verses because there was no other way to pretend that it was morally correct. He had children, as do many vile people. That's what they said. He had children, as do many vile people. Now, hours before this smear was published, my wife and I had the honor of escorting Charlie's body back to his home in Arizona. We took his wife, Erica, we love you, his parents, his sister, and a few of his best friends with us. And as they offloaded Charlie's casket from Air Force Two, I worried that Erica would collapse with grief. Now, I'm a very lucky husband to a very wonderful wife, but I have never been prouder of my wife than that moment as she held Erica in Erica's very darkest hour. And I thought of Erica as I read that disgusting attack on Charlie. He had children, as do many vile people. That's what they said about him. I said the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And I asked Usha what Erica had said to her earlier in the day in a private moment, and I asked Erica's permission to share this. My wife told me, she asked me for advice. Erica asked me for advice on how she should tell her children that their father had been murdered. She asked my wife how to tell her beautiful kids that their father and my dear, very dear friend is no longer with us. And as she was doing it, there were people dancing on that father's grave. Now, I have heard many calls in the last few days for unity and for healing in the wake of Charlie's assassination. You have no idea how desperately I want that, how gratified I was when Democratic friends and even former Senate colleagues reached out to offer their condolences to me. I'm so thankful. And I know there are so many like them all across our great country. I am desperate to wrap my arms around them as we all unite to condemn political violence and the ideas that cause it. Psalm 133 tells us, "Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head." Oh, how badly have I craved that precious ointment in recent days, and I believe we can have it. But first, we must tell the truth. It's the only way to honor Charlie, for what was he, if not a man who told the truth in every place, in every environment? Now, the most important truth Charlie told is this, that long ago a man, begotten, not made, came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary and became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate and suffered death and was buried and rose again on the third day. Charlie believed, as I do, that all the truth he told flowed from that fundamental principle. I really do believe that we can come together in this country. I believe we must. But unity, real unity, can be found only after climbing the mountain of truth. And there are difficult truths we must confront in our country. One truth is that 24% of self-described, quote, very liberals believe it is acceptable to be happy about the death of a political opponent, while only 3% of self-described very conservatives agree. 3% is too many, of course. Another truth is that 26% of young liberals believe political violence is sometimes justified, and only 7% of young conservatives say the same. Again, too high a number. In a country of 330 million people, you can, of course, find one person of a given political persuasion justifying this or that or almost anything. But the data is clear. People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem. If both sides have a problem, one side has a much bigger and malignant problem, and that is the truth we must be told. That problem has terrible consequences. The leader of our party, Donald J. Trump, escaped an assassin's bullet by less than an inch. Our House Majority Leader, Stephen Scalise, came within seconds of death by an assassin himself. And now, the most influential conservative activist in generations, our friend Charlie, has been murdered. This violence, it doesn't come from nowhere. Now, any political movement, violent or not violent, is a collection of forces. It's like a pyramid that stacks on top, one support on top of the other. That pyramid's got a foundation of donors, of activists, of journalists, now of social media influencers, and of course of politicians. Not every member of that pyramid would commit a murder. In fact, over 99% I'm sure would not. But by celebrating that murder, apologizing for it, and emphasizing not Charlie's innocence, but the fact that he said things some didn't like, even to the point of lying about what he actually said, many of these people are creating an environment where things like this are inevitably going to happen. A couple of months ago, I headlined a fundraiser in Southern California, and since, we'd be out there anyways, my wife and I decided to take our kids to Disneyland one weekend. We had fun, and to be clear, most of the guests said very nice things, or they just left us alone. But there was a loud and very vocal minority that would shout at my children, who were 8, 5, and 3, whenever they got the opportunity. "You should disown your dad, you little shit," one middle-aged woman yelled at my 5-year-old. "Tell the Secret Service to protect the Constitution, not your father," screamed another. Are these women violent? Probably not. Are they deranged? Certainly. And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left. After Charlie died, one of his friends and one of our senior White House staffers had left-leaning operatives in his neighborhood passing out leaflets telling people what he looked like and where he lived, encouraging neighbors to harass him or, God forbid, to do worse. While he was mourning his dead friend, he and his wife had to worry about the political terrorists drawing a big target on the home he shares with his young children. Are these people violent? I hope not. But are they guilty of encouraging violence? You damn well better believe it. We can thank God that most Democrats don't share these attitudes, and I do, while acknowledging that something has gone very wrong with a lunatic fringe, a minority, but a growing and powerful minority on the far left. There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country. Now, our government, you heard me talk to Stephen Miller about this, will be working very hard to do exactly that in the months to come. We're not always going to get it right. We will sometimes move more slowly than you would like. We will sometimes move more.
That's about 30 seconds left in that, but you get the idea. We got to hit the break. 13 past the hour. We'll come back and talk about that speech.
That's the truth. I shared a little B-roll clip. It's a minute. No. What is it? I mean, does it really bother you that much? Because this is the best one because it's the shortest with the full scope. Okay. And if you want to kill it at like the last 10 seconds, because that says go. So I'll tell you, this is all right. Yeah, the Guardian comes on at but I'll just tell you how the tape is nonsense.
Chat, live in the chat. Almost forgot we're live in the chat.
Yeah, we're live.
The Rumble is working, so the Rumblers are there.
Rumblers.
Rumblers. Brownie Bow, Susie 321, MAGA Patriot 63, Drake 99,
What?
Joe Ed Jr.
What?
Two reads.
She's getting herself a cookie.
Hot Dog 1966. Do we have cookies?
We have hot dogs?
I don't know.
Where?
Are you seriously leaving to go check if we
I
have
can tell you what we
cookies in
don't
the
have. We
kitchen?
don't have coffee anymore.
No, we don't have cookies.
We have no coffee either. Coffee pods are out, man. I didn't pick anything up. I forgot. You know we have no more coffee, Big D?
I do as of looking for it tonight, yeah. All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt's over $37 trillion, you ever stop and think maybe now would be a good time to buy myself some gold? Well, as a hedge against inflation, for peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own physical gold. And so they've created something special. Until September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, all you have to do is request an information kit right now. Just text America to the number 989898. Plus, Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you're still eligible for the rebate. In free metals up to $10,000. Birch Gold is the only precious metal company that we trust here at Rural America's Voice, as do their tens of thousands of customers. So make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy by September 30th. Text America to 989898. Text the word America to the number 989898. Claim your eligibility and get your free information kit. Again, text America to 989898. Well, if you're stressed about back taxes, maybe you missed the April deadline or your books are just a mess, well, don't wait. The IRS is cracking down. Penalties can add up fast. 5% a month up to 25% just for not filing. But there is help. Tax Network USA can take the burden off your shoulders and stop the spiral before it gets worse. They've helped thousands of Americans, whether you're an employee, a small business owner, or you haven't filed in years. Messy books, no problem. They've seen it all, and they know exactly how to clean it up. They have direct access to powerful IRS programs and expert negotiators that'll work on your behalf. Tax Network USA knows how to win. You'll get a free consultation, and if you qualify, they may even be able to help you reduce or eliminate what you owe. More importantly, they'll help you protect, from wage garnishments or bank levies. So don't wait for that next IRS letter. Call right now, 1-800-905-8000, 1-800-905-8000, or go to tnusa.com/RAV, tnusa.com/RAV, to talk to a real expert at Tax Network USA. Take the pressure off. Let Tax Network USA handle your tax issues. tnusa.com/RAV, or call 1-800-905-8000. All right, 20 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Slick's here. He's going to do a little sports. Sports is brought to you, and news is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you want to shop at MyPillow. Use our promo code at checkout. It'll give you a great savings. Let's do a little sports, then I want to talk about that JD video. Slick, what's going on?
All right, update on the scoreboard. We have a doubleheader in pro football tonight, Monday Night Football. 2 games, one going on right now. Just about 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Buccaneers lead the Texans 14-10 in a good game in Houston. And then coming up at 10 p.m. kickoff in Vegas, the Chargers and the Raiders get it on. Raiders are favored by 3.5 points. Major League Baseball, a couple of quick scores. Cubs 4-0 over the Pirates, bottom of the ninth. Top 9, Braves lead the Nationals 8-3. Rays blanking the Blue Jays 1-0. Top 8 there, bottom 5th. White Sox and Orioles knotted at 1. Twins blanking the Yankees 2-0 in Minnesota, bottom of the 6th. Top 7, the Cardinals just went ahead of the Reds 4-3. They may as well just check out the whole season, the Reds. Rangers 3-2 over the Astros, top 5. Giants taking on the Diamondbacks at 9:40 tonight. If I got time for one quick story, Big D? Mm-hmm. All right. Dwayne Johnson's daughter's Instagram post shared hours after Charlie Kirk's assassination sparks massive backlash. Be kind or get assassinated. This is Simon Kent of Breitbart. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's daughter, Ava Rain, sparked a massive backlash for a social media post that appeared to be directed at Charlie Kirk just hours after the free speech advocate was assassinated. The 24-year-old is also a WWE professional wrestler, just like her father, shared an ex-post from comedian Gianmarco Soresi on her Instagram story, which read, "If you want people to have kind words when you pass, you should say kind things when you are alive." The New York Post first noted, although the comment did not directly name the celebrated Turning Point USA founder, she doubled down, adding a comment of her own in a repost on her X account. "And I'll stand behind this. Be kind now more than ever." Rain, whose full name is Simone Alexandra Garcia Johnson, she wrote. Her position quickly drew a massive backlash from WWE fans and followers, and WWE has yet to respond with any formal words. As
Firing.
She's
terrible.
Any formal firing is what it should say.
Bye.
This is what JD Vance is talking about.
Yep.
Exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's a wrap, Big D.
All right.
Back to you on that.
So getting back to JD Vance, just a couple thoughts, and we'll go around here. Number one, that is a presidential address. That's the way it seemed to me. Very Reagan-esque presidential address. That may be, and I know he's filling in, and he's kind of taking on the role of a host there, but he's not really taking on the role of a host. He's the vice president of the United States. He's someone who understands the stakes, understands the landscape, understands the problems of Republicans in the past, problems of Republicans currently, understands the landscape of the media. And that is someone who, I mean, to hear him recite the Nicene Creed and the Our Father, I mean, are you kidding me? How beautiful that was. And I mean, honestly, that we may look back on that and think that that's one of the most consequential political speeches that we've heard in a long, long time. And maybe that sounds weird because people are thinking he was doing a radio show, but honestly, that may be one of the more consequential speeches for where this country is now going. That we've heard in a long time. Paul, what'd you think?
Well, stats and facts, he brought them. You want receipts, he had them. You want the spirituality, you want the genuine decency, he's there. You want to talk about a guy with incredible ability for recall, a guy who, a great historian, great speaker. You got it, check the boxes on him there. The fact that he made it clear that he would like nothing more than to reach out across the aisle, the people who did. He would love nothing more than to somehow or another create some unity in this world. But he called out the lunatics. He called out the most despicable people. in society, and it's it's truly repugnant what we're seeing here. And it reminded me of a quote I saw not too long ago. Was the death of human empathy is one of the greatest and earliest and most telling signs of a culture about to fall into barbarism. And he speaks to that right then and there, because we see the left are so barbaric and they're so detached from humanity and reality. It's been nothing short of disgusting. In fact, I'll just give you the quick story. There's a streamer named Destiny. I've never seen him win a debate. He's just a great arguer and a crybaby and a whiner. He yells over his opponent, but he never brings receipts, never brings any substance to his debates. He's a clown, to be completely honest. He was quoted as saying that we need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events, so they look to their leadership and turn down the temperature. The issue is right now they don't feel any fear, like, I don't know. And he went on to say something to the effect of, we need conservatives to be afraid to get killed when they go to their events. This is coming from the probably leading left-wing, whatever you call this.
Really? I never heard of the guy.
Destiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a clown. Here's why you didn't hear of him. He's an idiot. But he's supposedly the big voice of the extended adolescent 29-year-old who stays in his basement playing video games and refuses to work.
You heard of this guy, Delgado?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, he's garbage. He's one of those garbage people.
All right, 26 past the hour. We'll get Delgado's thoughts on JD Vance and Slicks when we get back right after this.
They should have
Presidents.
out way before. See me smack the guy.
Impulsive little
What are you
punk.
doing? And he was upset. Yeah, some stuff was declined there.
No, but
Destiny was on Piers Morgan.
Right, the yards
Yeah,
are
many
lost.
times. By the way,
That
Andrew
opening
Tate
kickoff
on
set the
Piers
tone.
Morgan is always pure fireworks.
That Aubrey is something.
Every time Andrew Tate starts screaming at Piers Morgan, it's like watching Roadkill. You want to help it, but you can't. Like, it's always so fireworks.
Please throw the ball to Mike
Jet.
Williams, Mayfield, once in a while. Throw him the ball. I need this guy to get a couple of points off this week. He will not even look at the guy. He'll throw it to the hot dog vendor.
dude, my fantasy team did so well yesterday, and my quarterback was Joe Burrow. And
Wow, he got
and
hurt.
I still won by like 30 something.
That's something.
Like, wow.
You got Brandon Aubrey as your kicker.
I don't know what.
Guy comes in with a 22.
Damon, did you see Gutfield today? Takedown? No.
He annihilated
Tarlov, whatever.
Jessica Tarlov. Because she's just a dipshit. She really is a dipshit. Who?
Mike Evans, getting old, but he's good.
Dude, it's only the second game.
Do you have that story
It's
of
the
the?
second game.
It's 2 weeks in
Do
a
you
row.
have the
he's done
story of the
enough.
nurse who stood up to that doctor?
See, she got her job back.
Yeah, and he got his
fired.
resignation.
Throw the ball, Mayfield, will you?
Oh man,
Oh
He's a
no!
bum. I don't like Mayfield. He's terrible.
How many wins did he have last year? How many terrible guys get that many wins?
I don't like him, Paul. It's my own opinion.
No, but I just think it's an exaggeration.
Don't like him. Don't like him. I just said I don't like him. I didn't say he's bad. I just think.
I thought you said he's terrible. That's what I was.
Well, he's terrible. His decision making is terrible for me. Yes.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Monday night. Paul's going to do some news here in a second. Rick Delgado is going to do some more headlines. Slick's doing sports, but right now we're talking about J.D. Vance, who not only hosted a show today, and he was great at that, but he ignited a swell, I don't know what, he ignited a fire or something. I don't know what he did, but he gave 13 minutes there in the closing. That was, I think, as consequential as we're going to look back and realize of any speech we've heard, political speech, in a long time. And as I said, a guy who understands what's at stake here. And that was a presidential style delivery. Just really fantastic. What did you think, Delgado?
I thought it was very well said. I think he conveyed a lot of what we all kind of think. And
especially on the unity thing, the unity thing. You're hearing a lot of unity. The right's got to tone it down. The right's got to give in to unity. The right's got to do this. And I thought he just tackled that part of it. I thought so well.
Yeah, about basically blowing up that argument, because it's not for us to come to the table while they try and shoot you. That's basically what he's saying. He's like, no, we're not doing that anymore. And I think you're hearing that a lot across the board. And, and Paul's mention of how barbaric the left has gotten, and your mention last week, because I think we keep seeing it over and over again, right? We see the doctors, we see the lawyers, we see the teachers, we see all these people that are supposed to be pillars of community. They're actually indoctrinated. And that's the scary part for, I think, a lot of people. The one thing that we saw over the weekend, remember that nurse who came out and actually resigned her position, or she got fired, right? I think that's what it was. She got fired for her position. Mm-hmm. I have the story here. I'll just give you her name real quick. Well, turns out the nurse, let's see. The nurse, Lexi Kunzlel, she sued Inglewood Health and Dr. Matthew Jung, alleging that Jung cheered and celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination, and she was forced to lose her job. Well, now she's been rehired. She now has her job, and the doctor is now resigned, which couldn't happen to a nicer person. Just go away. Like he said, these people shouldn't be allowed in polite society anymore. No, you forfeited that right. Basically showing yourself that you don't believe in humanity. If you don't believe in humanity and you're a doctor, you're not a doctor.
And this is the story that the doctor said some offhanded comment, and she looked up to him and said, you're a doctor, basically like that. Like, you're a doctor. Like, what?
Right.
How could you possibly be happy a man was murdered in front of his family?
Right.
And there was like 11 or 12 nurses around and staffers, and she's the only one who had the guts to say something.
To say anything, yeah.
And she just stood up to him. And it was just another example of Charlie was strong enough to go on every college campus. It's really up for us to no longer be afraid of the gaslighting and the woke mob. It's up for us to constantly speak up and be like, no, you're gaslighting, you're lying. And she did it, and good for her.
Yeah, but again, it speaks volumes to that segment of society. We're talking about people who are professionals, who are doctors, who are lawyers, who are teachers influencing the young, and you want to know how it's done? It's done on purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
The college education is an indoctrination.
Not only that, but it's done. And again, I'll grab these quick quotes if you don't mind, Damon. Throwing these quotes up from Mike Benz regarding on how they do these kinds of things and how this rot has kind of infiltrated. You mentioned the attack from the inside. This is how they did it. This is cut number 4. Here's Mike Benz talking about how the CIA uses these tactics to start a riot. Cut number 4.
Here's a declassified CIA guide written in 1983 to train CIA operatives in the field on how to organize riots in foreign countries. And here's a tab on using agitators, including hiring professional criminals to manipulate mass meetings and assemblies of people in person, which can result in general violence. And you will see that they advocate for general violence, where the CIA tells the case officers, our psychological war team must develop in advance a hostile mental attitude among the target groups so that at the given moment, they can turn their anger into violence, demanding the rights taken away by the regime. So make these ethnic minority groups so mad at their government in a general sense that whenever we snap the trigger at the given moment, they will turn that general anger into physical violence against the state that we want to overthrow.
Yeah, and it links. It probably that statement probably links right back to the modernization of the Smith-Mundt Act, right?
Yeah,
back
which
in
is something
2012,
we've been talking about for a while here.
which basically is now no holds barred when it comes to the media. The media can now spread propaganda because of that one particular move by modernizing the Smith-Mundt Act.
Yeah, that was Obama's dirty hands covering his dirty butt on all his criminal behavior and all his, his cohorts. I mean, that legalizing propaganda against your own people. Yeah. How could that go wrong?
And it's amazing how many people in the news media just so happen to be, married to people in the intelligence community. Cut number 5. You want to know about the doctors and lawyers and teachers? Here he is talking about that. Mike
But this
Benz,
is a
cut 5.
CIA guide on getting teachers, doctors, attorneys, and businessmen in a cluster cell recruited as social crusaders for the CIA-backed cause. And then note what it says. Through a gradual process, these cells, your 10 super teachers with a lot of influence in the teaching realm, your 10 lawyers with a lot of influence in the legal realm, your 10 captains of industry with a lot of influence in business, your 10 medical professionals with a lot of pull over the hospital systems will each work within their own spheres of influence. And at the appropriate time, their influence will be used to fuse the groups together into a united front. Using the tactics of a force of 200 to 300 agitators, one can create a demonstration in which 10,000 to 20,000 could take part. All we need are 200 back channels, 200 human assets that we've capacity built, and we can get 20,000 people to commit a violent riot in a fury of violence against their own government.
Yeah. So again, if you're looking for disappointment and being, how could they think this way? It's by design.
When did he make that? This had nothing to do with Charlie, right?
No,
This
long
was
ago.
about June, right?
This I found I think back in June I found this, him talking about this.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with his work. I watch everything he does, and he's one of the few people who will constantly expose the CIA. And let's just leave it at, because I don't want to get in any more trouble. They're mischievous. they have put their dirty paws in everything and have absolutely subverted this nation from within. Right. As Ron Paul said, it's time to dismantle them.
You know what's funny about that? I was having dinner with somebody who, if you asked me, I would say he's political. The wife's not political. I would have said it all. He's maybe a little. We don't really talk politics when we're together, but we went to dinner. And Paul, the whole conversation, the whole night, I was saying, he asked me what I thought about certain things, and I'd said some things about this Charlie Kirk thing just didn't add up to me, and still don't. And the whole conversation from there went on to just that there is this, that even normal, I mean, yeah, we talk about it, we kind of joke about you and Delgado being out there, but to be serious, even what I would call normal, almost non-political, just kind of on the surface people are looking at this going, there is some bigger game here that none of us have any idea what's going on. And that goes for not only this situation, but just a whole of government situation we have no idea about. These are people that don't, I mean, I've never heard talk like this.
Yeah. You know, this is the erosion of civics and public trust. This is the erosion of confidence in American politics and the nation itself. This is the end result of 60 or 70 years of operation after operation, from MK Ultra to Operation Paperclip to Operation Timber Sycamore to it's endless psyop after psyop after psyop. And what they've done is they completely destroyed all public trust. The fact that the first thing I said when Charlie, when the smoke cleared, is like, the worst thing about this is I feel like the first story I hear I know is going to be BS. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm never going to know the real truth or any detail of what really happened, because I do not trust the institutions that are going to run these operations even a little bit. And if you look just on the surface right now of what's going on through the Discord chat and the Discord owner deleting the history that these, online the trans community were talking about, the plan, the plot, and all this stuff. And now you look at some of the way Kash Patel and so things that it handled along the way, where he wasn't supposed to release to people, that he's praised for releasing the information. And then we have him in custody, that we don't have him in custody. It's just been an endless frustration. And I'm trying my best to let the dust settle before I start digging in, but I can't help myself. I'm looking into all of the external videos that are coming in. I'm looking at these tweets. What is there, 7 or 8 tweets that predicted this was going to happen? Yeah. And then those accounts have been deleted. This is nothing about this story has sat right with really anybody who is even remotely aware of what's going on. And that's the thing. Even the people you don't think are remotely aware because they keep their mouth shut, everybody knows now, almost everybody knows that we are being endlessly gaslit and lied to and manipulated.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Any other headlines, Delgado?
Well, I know you wanted to go to Slick, too, on his thoughts on J.D. Vance.
Yeah, Slick, what'd you think of J.D.?
I thought he was great. Obviously, definitely presidential. But I liked what he said about his wife supporting Erica. I thought that was fantastic. The way she held her up, and sure. What do you tell your children? And I thought that was really good that she did that, and he shows the unity amongst those two, the vice president and his wife as well. Was that they call that the second lady? Is that what that's official term? Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of time, but I'm just curious, if J.D. Vance wasn't actually vice president, I feel like he's one of the few brains and people who could almost match Charlie's ability to do what he did. He's young enough, he's bright enough, he's articulate enough, he's patient enough, he's Christian enough.
For sure.
Very few people can really. It's going to take 10 people and Erica to.
Well, the answer is there's no replacement, right? Yeah. It's like saying we wait for the next Rush Limbaugh. You're going to wait forever. Yeah, there's never going to be one. Yeah. There's never going to be you can't replace these men. They're so you just
generational.
Can't. You just don't replace them. There is no replacement for them.
That's the truth.
So
yeah, but just be careful of the charlatans that try to. Always.
All right, we'll wrap it up for a Monday. Live from Studio 6B right after this.
Seconds, I figured he was going to throw one deep, and it'd either be a flag. And with this kid, he's ready to be top. He already is one of the top. He's ready to be the top guy. He's playing. You're gonna pay for him. He's insane. See the way he elevates? Oh, and his hands. Oh, I know. I saw that. I know. Donovan Wilson draped his hand right on his eyes. But that was the hand that also picked off that ball the next series. That was the hand that picked it off. Oh, the chat. Hey, Sue Saddleborough. How you doing, Sue? In the YouTube's chat. Ruby Ivy. How you doing, Ruby Ivy? Peggy P. Cats B. Of course, Michael Sanders always in there. Pamela. Suzette. Suzette told me it was Dan Marino's birthday today. I mentioned Dan
Was it
Marino.
today?
Isn't that funny? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she said. I didn't fact check her, but I'm going to say Suzette is probably right on the money. Thank you for that. Lindesh, Troy Malone, of course. Broke Spoke. We love Broke Spoke, of course. Marianne Mack. She said goodnight also. That shout out she probably missed. Chris Allen in the chat, of course. Love it. We got great. Take Me to the Sea. Haven't seen Take Me to the Sea in a while. Good to see you in the YouTube chat. Take Me to the Sea. And Glittery Reiki Master. Hello, Slicky. All right, Glittery. I like that one. And JB 4-Piece. Hello, Slick Rick. Lindesh, of course, again. Good stuff.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Monday night. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's going to get some more headlines in here. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Let's get to some other news that's going on in the world. I guess it's all related, but Paul, you've got a couple things that are interesting you. Give me what's on your mind.
So I just I find it fascinating that like the world has kind of had it with globalism, and I thought what happened in London over the weekend. If you want to roll that as B, so if you look at the screen here, I want you guys to try to think about how many people this really looks like. That's obviously not easy to guesstimate this, but if you look at NBC News, tens of thousands join far-right rally in London. Okay, and then it was clashes in London as 110 joined far-right rally against immigration. Over 100,000 attend London far-right activists break out in clashes with the NPR. So it's Al Jazeera says, BBC. Police hurt during Tommy Robinson's London rally. So, anti-immigration protest draws over 100,000. So this is the nonsense of the mainstream media here.
Holy
Look at this video that just keeps on going and going and going.
Wow.
So the estimates now are between 2 million and 5 million people.
I was going to say.
And look at it. It doesn't
It's
stop.
like about 1,500.
And obviously, there was a great, like the Charlie Kirk shot has to be what finally sent the people of London over the edge. The rallies were fantastic. They talked about there's no more you're going to tell us that, that our nation shouldn't keep its culture, shouldn't keep its history. We're not far right. We just love our forefathers and what they've done for us and where we've been as a nation. We want to keep our colors. We want to keep our laws. We want to keep our history. We're not far right. We're not extremists because we love our nation. We are sons and grandsons and great-grandsons of the nation, and we don't want to be told that we're evil. Look at it. It just
That's
continues
incredible.
to go go and
I am
go
blown away.
and go. I mean, some estimates are as many as 5 million, but at this point, by the corrupt media, to call this 100,000 is another example of the endless, relentless gaslighting that they do to manipulate souls, hearts, minds, spirit, and they try to defeat you. So this to me was a great victory for liberty. And it's just, to me, it's worth us to let this entire 1 minute play out because, as they say, nothing can, you can't kill a good idea. You can't kill, freedom and liberty. And so, I just wanted to get that one out there.
Well,
but,
if you want to put that in context, kind of, you can look back on and every year at New Year's Eve in Times Square, they usually get about 1 million people. I'd say that's 3 to 4 times bigger.
Yeah, that's what I think too. So,
Easily.
I just was thinking about something that,
Good point.
You think about how people rally, like the elite can't stand these rallies. And just remember how there was Occupy Wall Street and all the far left people were going against the banks. And then next thing you know, the Tea Party arises and it's the far right people, I don't even want to say far left, far right, the left, against Wall Street. And then it's the right against the bankers, and they can't have that kind of unity because the truth of the matter is the root of all evil comes from the central bankers. They're the ones who have endless resources, endless power, endless control. You control the currency, you control the people, and by having endless amount of money, you control every narrative you want. So people have had it, and the globalist days are coming, and just never forget Charlie. Just never stop fighting.
Amen. Any other headlines stuck out you want to hit before we wrap?
Just real quick. Of course, vigils were all over Saturday night. Right here on Long Island, the people of thousands of people descended on your neck of the woods there, Paulie, over in Seaford. The event called Light Up the Sky for Charlie. Here's a little bit of B-roll of that, cut number 3. You can check that out. Was organized by Kevin Smith, the founder of the Loud Majority and advisor to the New York Young Republican Club as well. Billed as a solemn vigil for Charlie Kirk and his family following the assassination last week. And you can see just thousands of people showing up, holding candles and chanting Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. Again, seen on Long Island. So Long Island, showed up as well as all over the world, it seemed like.
Yeah, everywhere.
And I don't know if you guys caught this. Our very own Ben Berquam, he was down in D.C.,
at the Kennedy Center.
At the Kennedy Center, and he ran into this kid. Listen to this quick little interview he does with this 14-year-old boy who's online, who wants to go see, who's online for the vigil and wants to get in. Cut number 1. Our own Ben Berquam. Check this out.
Young man, you want to say why you're here, what Charlie Kirk meant to you?
He was my idol. I remember watching his videos, wanting to be like him. I would just see the way he would debate, and he would stay calm while the left was just yelling at him, and he was just so nice about it. And then they hated him so much because he knew he was right, but they just didn't want to admit it. So they ended up hating him, and they just killed him for it.
What's your name? How old are you?
I'm Bryson Levy. I'm 14.
And you're already
God bless you, bro. Where are you from?
I'm from here, Oakton.
Man, I pray a blessing on Bryson. This whole generation, Lord, raise them up. Give them extra strength, extra power, wisdom and favor, Lord. I just pray your angel armies go with Bryson everywhere you go, brother, that God makes you a man, a warrior for this generation, my man.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's our very own Ben.
How good is Ben?
Yeah.
He's the best.
Incredible.
That's a great clip. Anything?
I didn't
Is
see
that it, Doug?
That's all I got.
That was great.
All right, Slick, give us a little wrap in sports. What else is worth knowing about that's going on tonight?
Well, Monday Night Football right now, game just coming down to the wire, about 40 seconds to go in Texas. The Texans leading the Buccaneers 19-14. Buccaneers on the move, 52 seconds to go in the fourth. Raiders taking on the Chargers in Vegas tonight, 10 p.m. That game is coming up. And just a quick report tonight with tonight's game. The Texans where we're talking about this game here, have pregame moment of silence for victims of violence, but don't mention Charlie Kirk. Armando Salguera of Fox News added the Houston Texans to the list of teams that used their home game during the NFL's Week 2 schedule to pause for a pregame moment of silence, although the team's effort before the Monday night game against Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not mention Charlie Kirk. And at approximately 6:40 is when they did the broadcast, and no mention of our slain Charlie Kirk. So really a shame there, but is what it is, Big D. And that's a wrap in sports for tonight.
All right, Slick, very good. I didn't really get to a ton of stuff that I had tonight, and that's fine. I'm happy that Jesse Garcia came on and talked about some of the things we talked about with him. But there was an article in the American Thinker today. Jim Davis wrote, Charlie Kirk's assassination has galvanized our movement. And it's really worth the read. I linked to it on our social media, and I think when we think about what the next 6 months, a year is going to look like into the midterms, and then obviously Erica hopefully taking over TPUSA and trying to continue to grow that as they continue to do their events, continue to do their college tours, continue to do their bigger events like they do in December, and to speak to what the vice president talked about today, the galvanization of this movement and what that looks like. He actually goes back to one of Charlie's more powerful speeches that he gave to a group of Christian conservatives. And it really is quite amazing, the spiritual battle that the country is in, his recognition of it, being able to lay out the case, very similar to what the vice president did, making the case, understanding the stakes. It is a fabulous read today. Charlie Kirk's assassination has galvanized our movement. It's on our social media. You can get to it tonight, but check it out. So, as always, we salute our military, active, inactive, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, all emergency personnel, everybody that keeps the country moving forward, all our truckers, all our farmers. Thanks to everybody on the show. Aaron, Fran, great job as always. Most of all, though, thank you to Live from Studio 6B audience, best audience in television. We so appreciate you giving us a few hours of your weekday nights, 8 to 10. We'll see you tomorrow night back here, 8 p.m., live from Studio 6B.